to 7 p. Eastern here on ESPN Radio. As Denver beats Kansas City 22-19, 8 straight wins for Denver. Ooh. 8 straight wins. Will Lutz with the game-winning field goal. Bo Nix 24-37, 295. And a huge play that I think may be Bo Nix defining, season defining kind of play on a 2nd and 8, hitting Troy Franklin for 33 yards to set up the game-winning field goal. His 5th game-winning drive of the season, his being Nix in this spot, and he was awesome down the stretch. Kansas City, conversely, now 0-5 in one-score games this year. They were 11-0 a year ago in one-score games, so certainly a difference between last year and this year. They're 5-5. They're on the outside looking in of the playoffs in general. They are closer to the Raiders for last place in the AFC West than they are the Broncos for first place in the AFC West. So are we done giving the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt for this season?
Well, it's the first time they've had a win percentage of 500 or worse through 10 games since 2015. They have owned the division and won it every year since 2016. Andy Reid after a bye is as good as gold, except when he's not. He fell to 27-5 following a bye week. They seem to have put themselves in a pretty precarious position in the division. Denver has taken care of business. And I'm in a tough spot here because I said last year that I didn't think that they had what it takes to go back to the Super Bowl, and then they did it. I actually did it 2 years in a row, and they proved me wrong 2 years in a row. And I'm seeing a lot of those same warning signs. And I want to say, based on what Denver has done, that it's over for them. I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt, but they are the Kansas City Chiefs, and they usually find a way to embarrass me.
Man, I'll say this. That extra point that was blocked by Harrison Bucket, that was huge.
Yes.
In the second half. That changed the complete complexion of the game. So because rather than Denver being down, they were able to have it tied at 19. Again, takes a little bit of the edge off, takes a little bit of the pressure off, and you saw that Broncos offense be able to operate. And they've shown a lot of poise in late game situations, late game execution, and Sean Payton deserves a tremendous amount of credit for that. But the thing that stood out to me the most in watching that game was how the reputation of the Denver Broncos pass rush impacted the game plan for Andy Reid. Think about this. Andy Reid coming into this game was 22-4 on bye weeks. He doesn't lose, but he lost this particular game. And what's interesting is with extra time to prepare, they came in with a game plan to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. Think about how counterintuitive that is. In the biggest game of your team's season, you want number 15 to get rid of the ball as fast as you possibly can. The reason why is that pass rush. Patrick Mahomes yesterday dropped back to throw. Well, he had 45 pass attempts. Over half of those pass attempts, the throw was coming out in 2.2 seconds or less. They were getting rid of the ball. You know why? Because they didn't want Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito and Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers to put the imprint on their game more than they already did. And trust me, those guys, they had Patrick Mahomes feeling the heat. They had 13 total quarterback pressures, 8 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks. And that doesn't tell the story of how dominant they were. This Denver Broncos team is for real, and it's because of the way that they play defense. I always say this, a dominant defense that can create field position and give your team extra possessions is a young quarterback's best friend. Yesterday's game proved that point.
I'll add one more name. And as long as you guys promise not to say anything to Jeff Saturday about this, I'm announcing my prediction for Bro of the Week right now.
Oh.
Yes, so every Wednesday on our show, 7 a.m. Eastern hour, Jeff Saturday comes in, ESPN NFL analyst, former player and coach, and gives us his Bro of the Week. Somebody that, he's like, bro, like, I can't believe how well that guy played. Jaquan McMillan.
Yeah.
The defensive back for the Denver Broncos literally sprinted on a blitz towards Mahomes at one point, leaped towards Mahomes just to put his arms up to try to block a pass and landed on him and sacked him at one. It was unbelievable. And there were multiple versions. We just showed it on the TV side of ESPN2. There were multiple times that he came after him. So think about what Cece's saying. Their pass rush in general is really good. Now I'm adding defensive backs to come after Mahomes, and Mahomes, who is an all-time great, can't find open receivers quickly because that's how good that Denver defense is. But now, let's talk about the Chiefs side of it. I'll get a little soapbox-ish, more than normal. As a Brady Belichick guy, I love them, and I'm biased in their favor, et cetera, et cetera. It makes people vomit. I get it. Brady and Belichick missed the playoffs once in Tom Brady's first season as a full-time starter. Okay, that was after winning the Super Bowl, before winning 2. And then they missed the playoffs when he got hurt. If this team misses the playoffs this year, I don't want to hear the comps to Brady and Belichick anymore. This is too deep into this run to miss the playoffs. It's just too deep. CeCe last year going into the Super Bowl said, I can't believe I'm doing this, but they have a path. I said, path for what? Because if they win 3 in a row, we got to take this duo over Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
Since that moment, think about what's happened. They got destroyed in the Super Bowl. I'm not blaming CeCe, but since that moment, they got destroyed in the Super Bowl.
BTA.
They're now 5-5 in the season. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are 4. When we went through the schedule last week, go back on the podcast and listen to Friday's show. CeCe went through and said, I got 4 wins and I'm just giving them. Well, that only puts them at 9. That only puts them at 9 wins. That means you got to find more wins. And this team, despite their enormous point differential in their favor, 3rd best in the AFC, I believe, for Kansas City, they're losing close games. They don't look dominant on offense. And Denver is significantly better. They may not make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I do not want to hear about this Chiefs dynasty in the same sentence as the Patriots dynasty. This is too deep into it to miss the playoffs. When, oh, by the way, there are more playoff teams now than when New England was in the playoffs.
And when
that version of New England, excuse me.
The main characters are healthy.
The main character, to our knowledge, the main characters are healthy.
To our knowledge.
Mahomes is playing every week. Chris Jones is playing every week. Travis Kelce's playing every single week. So at some point, do we now have to look at Reed and Mahomes and say, let's stop talking about everything else, even though it's there? And what's wrong with those two? Why are they not able to figure this out together? Because we know they're all-time greats. At some point, do we need to look at the main characters in question?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, if you have head coach and quarterback right, that covers up a lot of problems. And so anytime the Chiefs struggle, especially in the way that they have this year and being so uneven, we have to pin some of it on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. If we're going to give them all the credit for all of the winning, they got to get a lot of the blame for all of the losing, too. And yesterday, what Chris Jones said post-game is case in point. The fact that he felt like the Denver Broncos knew exactly what was coming on the critical plays in the game, most notably the 3rd and 15 that Bo Nix was able to convert on a pass to Mims for a first down. Chris Jones said that those guys did a hell of a job in film study because they knew what was coming. They knew what coverage we were going to be in, and they were able to make the play. That's on coaching. When your guys on defense feel like the other team's offense knows exactly what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, you got to pin that on coaching. That's Andy Reid. That's Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
So we give those guys a ton of credit. We give them all the kudos. We give them all the flowers when the Chiefs are rolling. They got to get some of this smoke. They got to get some of this blame, too. Now, according to our FBI, the Kansas City Chiefs are heavy favorites in all of their remaining games, including another game against the Broncos. So we'll see how all of that stuff goes down. But yeah, it feels like it's starting to get late early for Kansas City.
Favorite in all the games, yet when you went through it, you were willing to give them 4 and not all of them.
I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore, period. I'm not giving them the benefit. Like, they got a home game against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't mean I'm jumping on the Colts bandwagon for that matchup either.
Understood.
I got to wait and see. But I'm not going to just say that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to take care of their business and make it as a fait accompli that they win that game. I'm not.
Truly shocking that they're in this position right now. As Small said, with all the people healthy. And yeah, we have been fair, I think, towards the Chiefs. I think we are being fairly critical now towards the Chiefs. All right, we got to get into a first-place team. We got to get into a first-place team. I mean, this is the team that everyone expected to be in first place.